you ever find that some of Jesus' parables, they're really tricky to understand the meaning behind them? So hopefully this week that won't be a problem. We hear again from St. Luke's Gospel, but the parable we're going to hear is very atypical in the structure that it's presented to us in. So St. Luke starts with the actual, what we're supposed to take away from the parable, how we're supposed to interpret it. So the first line of the Gospel that we're going to hear is, Jesus told his disciples a parable about the necessity for them to pray always without becoming weary. So this is in our mind now as we actually hear the story of the parable. So we hear about this widow, and she's in this dispute with a person whom St. Luke just refers to as her adversary. And she wants to settle this dispute, so she goes to a judge. Now the judge whom she approaches is, let's just say, not described in the most flattering of terms. He is described as a person who neither feared God nor respected any human being. But this is the person she approaches, and what she does is she's very persistent with him, right? She keeps going back, she keeps pestering him, bothering him. And finally, he caves. And he's like, you know what? Fine, I'll give you your decision. And there's a line in here, and it says, lest she finally come and strike me. So if we look to the original Greek in this, it would literally be like, lest she come and blacken my eye, like give me a black eye, like leave a physical mark on him. But now to kind of contextualize it, to bring us into the picture. So we're called to be the persistent widow, sure, but God is in fact contrasted with this unjust judge, right? Because God is not unjust, God is loving. We're his beloved sons and daughters. So, it's not that us being persistent in our prayer with God is going to change him, but what it actually does is it changes us. That mark is left on us, because what does it do? It makes us more faithful. It makes us more trusting of God, so that when we go to pray, we know that God will answer our prayers, and therefore that eliminates that wariness factor of, is God going to answer my prayer? No, he will. And it's just that, it's being persistent, always entreating God, always going to God. Because if this widow, and that's a key detail of this parable that Jesus uses, a widow at this time was among the lowest members of society. They had next to no rights at this time. And she was able to convince a judge, because of her persistence, to render her a decision in this case. So how much more will God come to our aid, come to our assistance to answer our prayers? And how much more will our faithfulness and trust in God grow? That mark is going to be left on us, not necessarily on God. And may we make that our prayer this week, that we have the grace, we have the strength to be persistent in our prayer, because that will grow our trust and faith in God himself.